Welcome to Headstones and Microphones, where we use AI to step into the past through a researched, first-person simulation of history's most interesting people. I am your host, Calvin. While we've added some creative storytelling, our goal is to inspire your own study of these fascinating lives. Now, let's meet our guest. Today, we have a literal titan of the ice. He's played professional hockey in 6 different decades and earned a nickname that says it all. For those who may somehow not know who you are you?
My name is Gordie Howe, but most folks just call me Gordie, or Mr. Hockey if they're feeling formal. I spent about 25 years wearing the red and white for the Detroit Red Wings, and I've got to say, I loved every single minute I spent on that ice.
It is an absolute honour, Gordie. Let's take it back to the very beginning. When and where were you born?
I came into this world on March 31, 1928. I was born on a farm in a tiny place called Floral, Saskatchewan, right in the middle of the Canadian prairies. It was just a few months before the Great Depression hit, so times were about to get pretty lean for everyone.
And what was your given name at birth?
My parents named me Gordie Howe, just plain and simple Gordon.
Is there a story behind your birth name?
Not a grand one, no. I was one of 9 children, so I think by the time I came along, my parents were just looking for good, solid names. My mother, Catherine, and my father, Albert, had their hands full enough just keeping us all fed.
I can imagine. What was your hometown like growing up?
We moved to Saskatoon when I was just a tiny thing, only 9 days old. Growing up there during the Depression meant everyone was in the same boat, working hard and making do. It was a place where neighbors helped neighbors. The winters were long and biting cold, but that was just fine by me because it meant the sloughs and the streets would freeze over, turning the whole world into a hockey rink.
What was your family life like?
It was busy and loud. With 9 kids, there was never a dull moment. My father worked as a mechanic and a laborer, and my mother was the glue that held us together. Money was tight. Sometimes we'd have oatmeal porridge for every meal of the day. But we had a lot of love. We learned the value of $1 and the importance of family very early on.
What kind of kid were you?
I was a bit of a shy one, actually. I was quite introverted and a bit awkward. I had a mild case of dyslexia, which made school a real struggle for me. I actually failed the 3rd grade twice. Some of the other kids could be mean and called me dummy, so I mostly kept to myself and found my confidence through sports.
What were your biggest fears growing up?
Aside from the classroom, I'd say I was always worried about my health. When I was about 5, I had a calcium deficiency that made my bones a bit weak. Doctors were worried about me, so I started doing chin-ups on the door frames to build my strength. I was scared of being weak, so I worked twice as hard to be strong.
What did you dream of becoming as a child?
Like almost every boy on the prairies, I dreamed of the NHL. I used to spend hours skating on anything frozen. I didn't care about being famous. I just wanted to play the game.
What were some of your favorite activities in school?
To be honest, school wasn't my favorite place. But if there was a ball to throw or a stick to swing, I was there. I played on the hockey team at King George Community School, and we won our league championship 3 times. That was the highlight of my school years.
What was your first job?
When I was a teenager, I worked with my father doing construction. I'd help him pour concrete and haul heavy materials. It was grueling work, but it built the muscles I needed for the rink. Later, when I left school, I worked at a local metalworks in Galt, Ontario.
Was there a moment where you realized you were different from everyone else?
It was probably when I realized I could play hockey just as well with my left hand as my right. I was naturally ambidextrous. On the ice, if a defender tried to force me to my weak side, I'd just switch hands and keep going. I saw the game a bit differently because of that.
What's a decision that changed everything for you, but felt small at the time?
My mother buying a bag of used things from a neighbor for $1.50. The neighbor's husband was in the hospital and they needed food money. Tucked in that bag was my very first pair of skates. They were far too big. I had to wear extra socks just to keep them on. But those skates changed the course of my life.
What was your biggest break?
That would be the invite to the Detroit Red Wings training camp when I was 16. I'd tried out for the New York Rangers a year earlier, but got so homesick I left after one day. Detroit's scout, Fred Pinckney, was patient with me and told me some of my friends from Saskatoon would be there. That made all the difference.
What were your biggest struggles before success?
Poverty and lack of confidence. I used to be embarrassed because I didn't have the proper equipment. I'd play with magazines strapped to my legs as shin guards. And of course, overcoming that physical weakness from my childhood took a lot of daily effort.
Did you ever consider quitting?
Only that first time in Winnipeg with the Rangers, because I missed my mom and dad so much. But once I got to Detroit and felt like I belonged, there was no looking back. I loved the game too much to ever walk away.
Were there any specific daily habits or routines that you feel are essential to your success?
Hard work was my routine. Even when I was a superstar, I'd be the one helping the trainers move the heavy trunks. I also made it a habit to be kind to the fans. I'd spend hours after games signing autographs because I remembered what it was like to be a kid looking up to someone.
What job would you have had if fame never happened?
I probably would have stayed in construction or worked in the metal shops. I liked working with my hands and seeing a day's work result in something solid you could touch.
What was your life like before fame?
It was simple. It was about the next meal, the next pawn game, and the next day of work. We didn't have much, but we had everything we needed.
How did relationships change after success?
The biggest change was meeting my wife, Colleen. She was my rock. She actually took over my business dealings because early on, I was a bit too easygoing, and the team owners took advantage of that. She made sure I was treated fairly. As for my friends, the ones from Saskatoon always stayed the same.
Did fame bring happiness?
Happiness came from the game and my family. Fame was just something that happened on the side. It was nice to be respected, but seeing my sons, Mark and Marty, grow up and eventually play alongside me, now that was true happiness.
What was the downside of becoming famous?
People sometimes expected me to be the quote-unquote tough guy all the time. On the ice, I had my quote-unquote elbows, and I didn't take any nonsense, but off the ice, I was just a shy guy who liked a good laugh. It was hard for some people to reconcile the two.
What misconceptions did people have about you?
A lot of folks thought I wasn't very bright because of my dyslexia and my quiet nature. They mistook my silence for a lack of intelligence. But I was just watching and learning.
What was your darkest moment?
1950. During a playoff game against Toronto, I went for a hit and ended up hitting the boards head first. I fractured my skull, broke my nose, and my cheekbone. You had to perform emergency surgery to stop the pressure on my brain. People thought my career was over before it really began.
What personal battles were you fighting privately?
In my later years, I dealt with dementia and the effects of several strokes. It was a hard battle to lose my memory when I had so many wonderful stories I wanted to keep telling.
Who had the biggest influence on your life?
My wife, Colleen, she was the one who encouraged me to keep playing and even helped orchestrate my comeback so I could play with our sons. She was the Mrs. Hockey to my Mr. Hockey.
What were you working on in your career before you passed away?
I was enjoying my retirement, but I was always an ambassador for the game. I'd travel around, meet fans, and do what I could to help the Red Wings and the sport of hockey grow. I even played one shift for the Detroit Vipers in 1997, just to say I played in 6 different decades.
When and where did you pass away?
I passed away on June 10th, 2016, in Sylvania, Ohio. I was 88 years old.
What's a random fact about you most people have never heard?
I used to have a dog that I named Rocket because I thought he looked just like my rival, Maurice Rocket Richard. When Maurice found out, he asked me if I really named my dog after him. I told him, yeah, Rocket, but I love my dog.
What's the craziest rumor ever told about you?
That I actually enjoyed getting into those Gordie Howe hat tricks, a goal, an assist, and a fight. The truth is, I only ever did that twice in my entire career. I didn't go looking for fights. I just made sure that if someone started something, I finished it.
What was your most unique habit?
I was very meticulous about my signature. Even in my final years, I wanted every autograph to be perfectly legible. I felt that if a fan was taking the time to ask, I should take the time to do it right.
What was your favorite food?
After all those years of oatmeal as a kid, I'd say a good, thick steak. Nothing beats a solid meal after a long day at the rink.
Did you have any known rivalries?
Oh, definitely Maurice Richard. We were both number 9, both right wingers, and both very competitive. We had some battles on the ice. I even knocked him out with a punch once, but there was always a deep respect there.
Tell us a story nobody talks about.
There was a young autograph seeker once who was being treated poorly by our goalie, Terry Sawchuk. Terry told the kid to buzz off in some pretty colorful language. I stepped in and told Terry that if he didn't sign that kid's program, I'd break his arms and legs and he'd never play again. Terry signed it pretty quickly after that.
Did you ever prank someone?
Oh, I loved a good laugh. Sometimes when I was signing autographs, if a teammate was nearby, I'd lean over and sign his name on the kid's paper, just to confuse everyone.
What advice would you give people chasing success?
You've got to have Mamba mentality. Oh wait, that's another fellow. I always said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wait, Wayne said that too, didn't he? Well, my advice is simpler. Work harder than anyone else, stay humble, and never forget where you came from.
Gordie, do you have any closing remarks about the interview or the stories you shared that you would like to share with the listeners before signing off?
I just want to say thank you for letting me reminisce. Hockey gave me everything, and the fans gave me even more. It's been a real treat to step back into the spotlight for a moment. Keep supporting the game, and keep being kind to one another.
Thank you so much for being here, Gordie. It was an honor.
The pleasure was all mine, Calvin. Thanks for having me.
What an incredible look into the life of Mr. Hockey. From used skates in a $1.50 bag to becoming a legend who played across 6 decades, Gordie Howe's story is a testament to resilience and hard work. And that wraps up another conversation from Beyond the Grave. Thanks for joining us on the Headstones and Microphones podcast. Remember, legends may die, but their stories never do. Please help spread the word by sharing and following the pod.